Good day, my dear students. In this video session, let us learn what is the difference between constant strain triangular element and the linear strain triangular element, and also what are isoparametric, subparametric and superparametric elements. Okay, what is constant strain triangular element? We know that triangular element is one of the two-dimensional element used in FEM. At each node 2 degrees of freedom. Now let us consider that is 2 degrees of freedom at each node. We have that is x component and y component of displacement at each node of a triangular element. Okay, now let us consider the 3-noded triangular element. It consists of, this triangular element consists of only the corner nodes, that is nodes 1, 2 and 3. If we write the displacement function or polynomial function for this 3-noded triangular element, then field variable u of xy, that is u is a function of x and y, okay, where u is the x component of displacement field variable, a1 plus a2x plus a3y in x direction. If we write the field variable in y direction, that is the displacement in y direction v of xy is equal to b1 plus b2x plus b3y in y direction. These are the polynomial functions for 3-noded triangular element in x and y direction. a1 plus a2x plus a3y in x direction, b1 plus b2x plus b3y in y direction, where a1, a2, a3 are the generalized coordinates in x direction, which are coefficients in the polynomial which are equal to the 3 degrees of freedom, that is the in x direction, and 3 degrees of freedom in y direction, totally 6 degrees of freedom, and b1, b2, b3 are the generalized coordinates in y direction. Now if we write the strain in x direction expression, strain in x direction is given by change in displacement in x direction du divided by dx. Du by dx, if you take, that is strain in x direction can be calculated by differentiating u with respect to x. If you differentiate this u is equal to a1 plus a2x plus a3y. Okay, if we differentiate u with respect to x, we will get a2. This equation, if you differentiate with respect to x, we will get a2, which is a constant. That means we got strain in x direction as constant. Okay, now if you differentiate v with respect to y, dv by dy is strain in y direction. If you differentiate v with respect to y, we will get b3, which is a constant. b1 plus b2x plus b3y is the, if we differentiate this with respect to y, we will get b3, which is a constant. Hence strain in y direction also constant. Hence by we got strains are constant for a 3-noded triangular element. Hence it is a constant strain triangular element. Strain is constant here within a triangular element irrespective of its position. As per Hooke's law, stress is related to strain by using this equation. Okay, hence if Young's modulus and stress are constant, then automatically the strain is also constant in that triangle. Hence the 3-noded triangular element is also called as a constant strain triangular element. Now come to the linear strain triangular element. It is given by, let us consider the 6-noded triangular element consisting of 3 primary nodes, that is corner nodes, and 3 mid-side nodes, that is 4, 5 and 6. It is a linear strain triangular element. Now we will prove it. Okay, now 6-noded for 6-noded triangular element, if you write the polynomial function, u of xy is given by a1 plus a2x plus a3y plus a4x square plus a5xy plus a6y square, where a1, a2, a3, a4, a5, a6 are the generalized coordinates in x direction, and v of xy in y direction is given by b1 plus b2x plus b3y plus b4x square plus b5x square plus b6y square, where b1, b2, b3, b5, b4, b5, b6 are the generalized coordinates in y direction. Now if you find the strain in x direction, we will get strain in x direction, differentiate u expression, a u polynomial function with respect to x, we will get a2 plus 2a4x plus a5y, which is the linear one, which is not a constant. Okay, which is linear, because order of this expression we got, that is 1. And likewise, if we get strain in y direction, that is differentiating v with respect to y, we will get the expression b2 plus 2b4x plus b5y, which is linear. Order of the polynomial is 1. Hence the for 6-noded triangular element, the strain within the 6-noded triangular element, it varies linearly with the coordinates. Hence, the 6-noded triangular element is called as linear strain triangular element. And now we will observe the difference between CST and LST. Constant strain triangular and linear strain triangular. Constant strain triangular element, it is a two-dimensional linear element, that is simplex element consisting of only the corner nodes. Linear strain triangular element, it is a two-dimensional non-linear element because it is a complex element. It is a 6-noded triangular element. It consists of secondary nodes, mid-side nodes along with the primary nodes. Next, CST triangular element, it has 3 primary nodes at the corner. LST linear strain triangular element, it consists of 3 secondary nodes, that is mid-side nodes along with the 3 primary nodes. Next, CST element, the strain is constant throughout the element. Here in LST element, the strain is varying linearly inside the element, that is strain is not constant for LST element. The polynomial function for CST element is given by this one. The polynomial function for LST element is given by this one. Here in CST element, polynomial function consisting of 3 generalized coordinates in x and y direction, and LST element, it consists of 6 generalized coordinates in x and y direction. Okay, these are the differences. This is the difference between CST and LST element, my dear students. Now we will discuss isoparametric, subparametric and superparametric elements. Okay, isoparametric element. We will discuss now what is isoparametric element. We know that in 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional elastic problems or structural problems, if the continuum is of curved boundaries, like this, then that can be approximated to straight edge elements. By considering these 4 curved boundaries into 4 straight edge elements, which is a 4-noded quadrilateral element. Okay, but here the analysis become approximate. Since the curvature is approximated to straight edge, the analysis could be made much better if these number of straight edge elements are increased, but the computational time will be more, that is computational will be enormous. Okay, that's why this difficulty, that is if the continuum is discretized into more number of straight edge elements, in such cases the computation becomes enormous. These difficulties are overcome by using isoparametric elements. Okay, I know an isoparametric element can have straight edge or curved boundaries. An isoparametric concept is evolved by taking the parent element in natural coordinates, let us say zeta and neta, and transforming into an element into arbitrary shape in Cartesian coordinates x and y. Okay, now if the same shape function which are used for the same shape function which are used to determine the displacement are used for determining the geometry, then these elements are called as isoparametric elements. Isoparametric element is one whose order of the shape function to define the displacement and order of the shape function to define geometry are same, then these elements are called as isoparametric element. That is, let us take, if you consider the 4-node quadrilateral element, if you consider the 4-node quadrilateral, if you consider the quadrilateral element, 4-node quadrilateral element like this. If you consider the 4-node quadrilateral element, okay, where shape functions are n1, n2, n3, n4, okay, then u can be written as expression n1 q1 plus n2 q3 plus n3 q5 plus n4 q7, because let us say it is q1, q2 are the displacement at node 1, x and y component, q3, q4, q5, q6, q7, q8 at the nodes, 4 nodes. Okay, for that u can be written as n1 q1 plus n2 q3 plus n3 q5 plus n4 q7, where n1, n2, n3, n4 are the shape functions. Okay, q1, q3, q5, q7 are the displacement, x component displacement at nodes 1, 2, 3, 4. q2, q4, q6, q8 are the y component of displacements at the nodes 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, if the n1, n2, n3, n4, if the same shape functions which are expressed in the natural coordinates zeta and neta, if the same shape functions n1, n2, n3, n4 are used to define the geometry, that is x is equal to n1 x1 plus n2 x2 plus n3 x3 plus n4 x4, y is equal to n1 y1 plus n2 y2 plus n3 y3 plus n4 y4, then where x1 x2 x3 x4 are the x coordinate values for nodes, y1 y2 y3 y4 are the y coordinate values for the nodes 1 2 3 4. If the same shape function to define the displacement are used to define geometry n1 n2 n3 n4, then these elements are called as isoparametric elements, that is n is equal to n bar. If you consider one more example here, nodes used for defining geometry are here total 8, nodes used for defining displacement are total 8. Shape function for geometry n bar, okay, is if it is equal to shape function to define displacement, then it is called as isoparametric element. Now we'll move on to the subparametric element. In subparametric element, if the order of the shape function used to define the displacement within an element, if the order of the shape function used to define the displacement within an element, if it is greater than the order of the shape function used to define the geometry, if n is greater than n bar, then it is called as subparametric element, where n is shape function for displacement, n bar is shape function for geometry. And nodes for defining geometry, it is dot, it is these are 4, these are 4, okay. Okay, now shape function used for defining geometry are 4, nodes for used for geometry are 4, and nodes used for defining displacement are 8. Okay, geometry, this one shape function for displacement is greater than shape function for geometry. These are called as subparametric element. Now this one superparametric elements. Here in superparametric elements, if the order of the shape function to define the displacement within an element is lesser than the order of the shape function to determine the geometry, that is n is less than n bar, where n is shape function for displacement, n bar is shape function for geometry. You can observe here in this example, nodes for defining geometry are greater than nodes for defining displacement, that is nodes for defining displacement is less than nodes for defining geometry. These elements are called as superparametric elements. In this video session we have learnt, my dear students, what is the difference between CST and LST element, what are isoparametric, superparametric and subparametric elements. If order of the shape function used to define geometry and the displacement are same, then it is isoparametric. If the shape function for displacement is greater than order of the shape function for defining geometry, it is subparametric. And if the shape function for displacement is less than shape function for geometry, it is superparametric element. Thank you, my dear students. I hope you have understood. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy.